That was horrible. Okay, do you have your Capri Sun?
Yeah, you've supplied me with a Capri Sun. I have it. Unfortunately, I finished it
Take a
like
sip.
before we. Okay. Could you hear just the dry suck of me on a Capri Sun?
Everybody listen to Isaac's dry suck. Now, I've said some things on this podcast
Yeah,
that have crossed a line.
I don't know if I listen to Isaac's dry suck.
I don't think I liked that. Can we start over?
That's too late. It's over.
All right, everybody, welcome back to That Was Horrible with Isaac's dry suck. Fuck, I did it again.
So step 1, dry suck with a Capri Sun. What's step 2? What's next?
Now think about the most person in your life that is an Alan.
The most person.
Yep, don't worry about the grammar. Just go with it.
Just the most person.
Okay.
Does it have to be the most like Alan person? Like,
yeah. Okay, you good?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
I hope is everyone following along at home?
Yeah, exactly. This is like a guided meditation. Thank you for joining us on our guided meditated, podcast of a horror nature.
Yeah, it's podcast horror nature. Okay, so is everybody at home thinking about the most Alan that they know?
Think about the most Alan, the biggest, grandest Alan.
Okay, now think about a box of popcorn. Not a bag of
A
popcorn.
box,
not
like a
normal...
cardboard box, or like a crate, or like a soap box.
No.
Much as like a high horse would put you up on.
No, just like a you go to Costco and you buy a bunch of boxes of soda.
Yeah.
Fill those up with popcorn.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
So
So I've got my most Alan. I've got my box of popcorn.
Okay, you took a sip from your Capri Sun.
Yep, I tried. I got my dry suck.
Now make it very delicious. Okay? Do that in your brain.
Which part is delicious?
Don't worry about
is
it.
the popcorn delicious? Is the Capri Sun or is the Alan delicious?
Just do it. Are you doing it?
Ooh.
Are you following me?
Ooh, Alan, you're so delicious.
Okay, you went the Alan route. I think everyone at home is probably going the popcorn route with the delicious comment.
I hope everyone else is on the popcorn train
Unless
and not on the
everybody's into
delicious Alan
Listen,
train.
my brother's name is Alan, which is why I'm personally not doing the
Do
delicious
not go
Alan
that
bit,
direction.
Which, shout out to Alan, who's definitely not listening to this.
And shout out to any other Alan who is listening to this.
Love you, Alan.
Where are we
I do
going?
have a place to go. This has an endpoint.
Box of popcorn, Capri Sun,
Yeah.
Alan, delicious.
Very delicious.
Very delicious.
V is very important here.
The
D is actually completely void.
So we have nothing to do with that.
So really, it's just Alan voids out
Uh-huh.
popcorn.
Alan voids out popcorn.
Yeah, and so that
Would they have to
translates
fight the two of them, like Alan v popcorn
or vetoes.
or vetoes? He
Vetoes
vetoes.
also work.
No, let's put them in like a combat setting, like we're wrestlers, like Alan versus the popcorn. Right? Is that something? Where does the Capri Sun come into play?
So trust me.
Okay.
You
Let him cook.
I need you to calm down. I know you're worried
I'm
about the
freaking
Capri
out.
Sun.
The Capri Sun. I drank it already. I don't know what to do with myself.
So you're imagining your delicious Alan.
Of course.
And-
You said it. You said it. Delicious Alan. I'm sending this to your brother.
You imagine your delicious Alan.
Okay.
And he's got a net.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And it's really bright outside.
Okay.
And he captures a box of popcorn.
Okay.
With the net in the sunlight. Capri Sun. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Does anyone at
You
home
look
get the
nervous.
metaphor?
You look nervous.
So
Typically
this
at a
year-
certain point I like catch where you're going with these things. I don't know where we're at right now.
so
I'm
Alan-
lost in space right now.
Alan
He's giving
versus
me a face.
popcorn.
Alan versus popcorn.
Captured it with a net in the sun. So Alan, popcorn, Capri Sun.
It's so obvious, isn't it? Don't you understand?
This week we watched Alien versus Predator.
What is this?
Don't worry about the Capri Sun.
Hold on.
We lied to you.
Wait.
With a net.
Like that
Caught with
kind
a
of
net.
caught a
Yeah.
son.
Caught a son
with a net. So like a son, like a father and son.
Sure, yeah.
And this
Really,
Alan,
he caught the popcorn. But
this Alan catches.
so last
Is
week,
that where the Predator bit came from?
I think it makes obvious sense.
Of course, yeah, it makes obvious sense. It's a perfect one-to-one comparison. This is like playing Pictionary with you.
Yeah, it's great. Everything you need is right there.
When you draw a stick figure and a question mark and a brick wall, and you go, obviously it's Wonderwall.
Oh yeah.
You just say, everything you need is right there. Everything you need is there. The Capri Sun, the net, the catching. Alan is there. Your delicious brother.
It was all a segue. You know those things that Steve Jobs wrote around before he died?
That's not who didn't know. That's the mall cop. The mall cop loves the segue.
Paul Blart is Steve Jobs.
Paul Blart and
Google
Steve
that
Jobs.
up.
Really, like,
No
what?
offense to Steve Jobs' family.
In what ways is Paul Blart not a Steve Jobs?
It's true.
If
All
we just
of
give
us
the man a
have-
turtleneck, then that's a Steve Jobs.
If you give a Paul Blart a turtleneck,
He's gonna want an apple.
gonna want an apple. And if he has an apple, he's gonna want a phone.
And then
he's
he has
gonna
an
want
apple and a
eye.
phone, and
so
he's
gonna
gonna
start
want eyes.
gouging out people's eyes.
And then he's gonna need a pad because it's
he's
his
gonna-
time of the month. That's terrible.
That you went a
That
horrible
was
direction.
that was
with it.
awful.
That was
forget
very-
segues. That's what we were going.
So last week we talked about how we were going to watch
The Gate from 1987, but we have been we sold out,
happened, man.
We
Something
sold
happened.
out, guys. Sorry, the Wayland Corporation from the Alien movies, or the Wayland Yutani Corporation, came to us and said, "Hey guys, we got this little movie coming out. We like to call it Alien Romulus, coming out in 2024." And so we're like, "How about we do a little tie-in sponsorship here?" And we're like, "You want to give us money
And now
to
if-
talk about stuff? No one's done that before."
This didn't happen. No one's.
This is not. No, this is actually.
fake.
I was just trying to say we got bought out by the Wayland Corporation to talk about alien movies instead.
What you were saying right now does not benefit the corporation. So my directive is to do something else.
But I have the company's best
No, you
interest
don't.
at heart.
And if you cut me, I will bleed milk.
Bleed milk. Yes, that is us. We are Android podcasters today. I am Robo Isaac.
I am Robo Derek.
And this is Robo. That was
the robots,
horrible.
The robot's an alien. We screwed up the intro. It's fine.
so did. Welcome to That Was Horrible.
I love how that's my check mark for our intro.
We have
if
to
we get
mess
it
up.
wrong, it's like, okay, we're done. We're good. We can.
Now we can move on. Welcome back to our horror review podcast. That's all you need to know about this. But the androids in the Alien movies.
They're not really robotic.
No, not at all. They're actually
They're
like
actually incredibly human.
I prefer the term artificial person, actually, not like robot or synthetic.
But
like,
so anyway, we
that's-
decided to watch Alien vs. Predator because it's
Yes.
bad enough
It's
for us.
surprisingly, actually. So yeah, obviously you should all be aware. Alien Romulus just recently came out. We went to go check that movie out, and we thought it'd be a great time to kind of tie in with all of that stuff here, what with the fame of Alien. I've actually, for some reason, the existence of Alien Romulus and how much it excited me and how much I enjoyed the movie, I was like, I kind of want to dig into all of the other Alien movies.
too.
Like, before
Very
seeing
much
it, I
so.
rewatched Alien and Aliens, and then I started looking more into some of the ones I hadn't seen, like hadn't seen Prometheus, hadn't seen Alien Covenant, and so up in that mix, I was like, let's check out Alien vs. Predator. Actually, I think my dad wanted to watch it, and then Derek was actually the one who realized, hey, these ones are definitely bad enough for us to check out for the podcast, like Alien, because we were originally going to watch the sequel. I was like, wait a minute, the first one is already bad enough, sitting at a 22%, I think.
22% for humans and 39% for all the robots out there.
For the androids.
Fuck shit. Man, I'm swearing a lot today.
Artificial people.
I don't know what I'm doing. And if you want, before we go on with anything else, if you want to take a blast from the past, in April of 2023, we did an April Fool's Day special where we actually watched the original Alien and covered that. So that was technically episode 8.5 if you want to go all the way back.
Gosh, that's so long ago. That's
man, that was
crazy.
insanely long
Or
ago.
if you listen to that episode and went into cryo hypersleep, you're just waking up now. Welcome back to the world.
Do you like our new microphone quality?
Oh, that's right. I forgot. That was back before we had like real microphones. We weren't standing around one Yeti mic.
Do you like how annoyingly comfortable we are now with just bantering?
Just doing
for
whatever, just
so
the
long?
nonsense slopping all over the place.
'Cause if
talking
you
about
are just waking
delicious
up-
Alan.
If you are just waking up from cryosleep and you're listening to the episode that's literally 63 episodes after that one,
Wild.
then you're going to be like, wow, these guys went a direction.
They have found whatever it is they're doing. Is that a good thing? Maybe
someone.
they think so. Absolutely.
So let's jump into what we've watched in the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
It's been a couple weeks.
Obviously,
Lots happened.
we checked out Alien Romulus.
Yeah, man.
Guys, what a time. What a time. I can't, I don't want to spoil it yet,
No,
but you
no.
like, I can't say like, you know us, like we've done this one other time before, but we intend to at the end of the year to make another like best top 10 horror releases for the year of 2024, right?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you now. I'm not one to kiss and tell. I'm not one to gossip.
Also, the the year's not over yet.
The year's not
so
over.
Like
there's
anything
lots of
can happen.
movies that have yet to come out, but
Nosferatu's not even out yet.
Nosferatu is coming out, as well as Terrifier 3. That one's also coming out. I feel like every day I'm seeing more and more horror.
more.
But I just want to say, you may hear us go quite in depth about this here movie and where it's going to end up on our list here.
It's funny because if you haven't watched that top 10 of 2023, highly recommend you check it out.
It's a fun time.
But both of our number one movie on that year on top of it,
Evil Dead Rise
was, and it was also a movie by Fede Alvarez, which is technically a reboot of a franchise.
That's true.
And Alien Romulus, also by Fede Alvarez, also kind of a reboot of a franchise.
That's fair, yeah.
So it's funny that is like in potential to be at the top of our list again.
That's so funny. That's so wild. Yeah,
Same director. I mean, he's doing really
that.
good work. I loved the Evil Deads that he did. And
yes.
Obviously, huge fan of Romulus.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I guess we don't have to dig too deep into that, but like I personally really, really enjoyed it. There are a couple of critiques people have. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I really don't agree with, but I had a very, very fun time.
At the end of the day, like for me, movies, like I just want to enjoy myself.
Yes.
And I can critique, and I mean, if you've listened to this podcast, you've done this for a long time. I can be pretty nitpicky, but like at the end of the day, if I had a good time, I had a good time.
And that's what we're here for.
That's why good time.
That's why we continue to, like, with this podcast, we are dedicated to watching quote unquote bad horror movies, right? Because the end of the day, there's a lot of fun ones in there too. Yeah. And that's a huge thing where like I feel like I enjoy a good fun movie, even if there was this hole in the plot here or this character didn't do that well, this CGI looks strange. I don't care. I had a good time.
Yeah, for sure.
And so Alien Romulus is 100% a good time.
Yeah,
a thrill ride that just like leaves you shocked and gasping all over the place.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend you go see that movie. It is pretty graphic. I would argue it is the most graphic of all of the Alien movies. Now, I haven't seen all of them, but for the ones I have seen, I would say it is at the top.
Absolutely, yeah. And like what's most important, and again, we'll probably talk about this like in the near future, it goes back to what made Alien the singular, the first one, so great that it was a horror movie.
Yes.
Because that is something about the continuation of all of the Alien movies as a franchise. They slowly get further away, not even slowly, pretty quickly get away from the horror that it started with and become horror action till they're mostly just action movies. That's basically the whole thing of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what else did you watch this week? Did you watch anything else good? Did you watch...
I checked out Cuckoo. Cuckoo was one that I just like. I had a free evening. I wanted to check that one out, and it's one that's been on my radar. I didn't want to do like last year, where I was worried about like we kind of fell behind on a lot of horror movies, and we're like, oh, we need to make a top 10 list. Let's go watch all of the horror movies all of a sudden. Like, I didn't want to do that, so I was like, okay, let's try to keep up on these horror movies. I had some time to check it out. Not a bad time. It was way different than I was expecting. I remember we saw the trailer in theaters, and you were like, oh, that looks really cool. I guess I don't really have to worry about watching it though, because they showed me everything in the trailer, like most movies and their trailers do these days.
So much nowadays.
And I felt the same way. I was like, I really hope there are some differences coming in here. I really hope it's not just what we saw in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
And it certainly wasn't. It was a very different thing that I was not expecting. It went to really fun places. Hunter Schafer was great in it. Dan Stevens is a great
The Beast,
or he was also in Abigail, and he's been in a lot of fun stuff. He's just like one of those actors that I feel like has kind of like lived right under my radar, and I keep seeing him in things, and he's just kind of very enjoyable to watch on the screen. Like I like seeing him do things, especially when he gets to do like a fun little accent, and this one he definitely did. There's another movie he was in recently or something that like he had a fun accent. I think it was
when he was the Beast.
It was in that one definitely. No, but he was in I want to say he was in an episode of like that Netflix series for Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah.
I think that might be right. Don't quote me on that.
Well, we've been doing something different this year. Like I feel like last year we were making a point to see every horror movie together.
Yes.
And I feel like now we've kind of branched out and we're like, we'll see movies if we see one that's worthy of your time.
Yes.
Like we're still watching a lot of horror together,
of course,
obviously.
always,
But like I watched Mind, Body, Spirit, which is probably a movie you've never even heard of.
No, sir. Tell me
and
about that.
And I didn't text you about it, so that probably tells you how much I liked it.
That's the thing, right? Like we'll let each other know, hey, you need to watch this like ASAP.
Like so it was fine. It's like it came out at the beginning of this year, actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a found footage movie of a woman who buys her grandma's house, and the whole movie, she is trying to film herself making a YouTube series of yoga.
Okay, and that's an interesting.
The title is
concept.
Mind, Body, Spirit, right?
Okay, I get it. Yeah,
Of her YouTube channel,
right.
And they did a lot of fun things with camera play and stuff like that. And there were things I really liked about the movie. Like there is a moment where this spectral force in the house starts moving the camera on its own, and reveals some stuff that was pretty cool. There's also one kill in the movie that's pretty gnarly.
And then there's also part of the movie where a spirit gets onto her YouTube channel and starts leaving bad
really
hate comments on her yoga videos.
But
imagine being cyberbullied by the ghost in your house.
You're just dealing with it, man. What do I do?
What am I supposed to do about this?
You're sitting there at your YouTube channel upstairs. You hear him typing away. Stop, Maggie!
I haven't even finished the video yet. It's not even up. You can't already have criticisms.
For those who don't know, that ghost that lives in my house's name is Maggie.
The ghost name
Crap,
is Maggie.
she's gonna start leaving comments now.
No, we've given her an idea. Maggie's sitting there
fuck.
bored. It's I don't have any new ways to haunt people. It's like in Beetlejuice when they're trying to find ways to haunt the tenants of the new house and nothing's working. Maggie's sitting here I give up. Nothing is working on you guys. And there's a new idea. I can leave hate comments and cyberbully you.
But so, spoilers for Mind, Body, Spirit if you intend on watching it. I don't really think anyone does. It was a pretty low budget, kind of flew under the radar. I do think it's one of those movies that's so low budget that it was really good for what it was.
Yes.
They had a lot of really good ideas.
I think there's definitely something about that. What you did with that low budget, could be pretty impressive.
Because it was just one location, one camera, 3 actors, 4 actors, the whole movie. And I swear they had a contortionist to do some stuff. That was
on the poster, it looks like there's some kind of contortionist doing some yoga stuff.
The main actress, Sarah Bartholomew, she did a really, really good job. But she finds this journal from her grandmother who she never met.
Yeah.
And the grandmother has laid out rituals for her to do for self-cleansing. And you find out that she's moved out to this house in the middle of nowhere that was her grandma's house because she's trying to re-find herself. She's gone through some trauma and stuff.
Okay, so she's definitely into this. She's sure, I'd love these.
And so her YouTube channel kind of transforms into that. It comes to find out that it's basically kind of a hereditary type movie where there's someone, it's all possession and stuff. And she's performing a ritual on her. Again, spoilers, but she's performing this ritual that her grandma laid out. She thought it was for self-cleansing, but in reality, the grandma was trying to come back to life.
Oh,
and insert her soul into the girl.
That's kind of wild, actually.
I love that. I love that concept.
Yeah.
While watching the movie, I called that plot in 5 minutes.
Damn.
It was unfortunate because I was I love that reveal.
Yeah, that's super
but
cool.
I felt it coming from the first act of the movie.
That's a thing that could be really cool were it not obvious 5 minutes deep into the movie.
They gave it away pretty quick. And
sucks.
I don't think it was intentional. I do think that they were trying to be pretty subtle with it. But I was even watching this movie while doing other things like I usually do because of an insane ADHD brain. And I still picked up on that. What I will say about it, though, is they did this really cool thing with the camera. So the camera's set up in a room, and the grandma would ghostly spin the camera in a circle. And it would show different hallways of the house. And every once in a while, it would do a nun thing where it would go by blank and then go by again. And the grandma
there
was
she
there.
is.
It actually
and then there's grandma doing
times.
a really impressive yoga pose there.
Yeah. And one
grandma's
time
you obviously don't know how to work this. Let me show
She was
you.
dancing with a bunch of the Chippendales dancers at one point. It was fucking insane. No, I'm just kidding. No, but anyway.
The ghosts of Hooters past all showed up.
If you absolutely don't have anything else to watch, I actually think that one is worth a watch.
Yeah.
But it's not
that's such a funny way to recommend it. If you have nothing else to watch,
which
maybe check out this movie.
Just look at either of our letterboxes for horror movies of this year. I have an ongoing list, and I think it's at 23 now movies.
Oh goodness,
of just this year horror.
Derek's way better at updating his than I am mine. I get around to it at some point. I get around to it eventually.
So anyway, I gave that
most
movie,
of what I watch is horror movies.
I gave that movie 3 stars. I was it was really good for what it was. It just gave itself away too soon.
Yep.
And some of the dialogue was just atrocious.
So this week we watched Alien vs. Predator
Yeah, we
from
did.
2004. Derek, what is your history with aliens and or predators? How much do you know of either side of this?
Well, I've watched, I think, half of the Alien movies.
I'm about the same
including Romulus. I haven't seen any of the Predator movies. I remember when Alien vs. Predator came out on DVD in 2004.
DVD?
Yeah, DVD.
Digital
it was digital video documentation. And it was a video that you would put in your computer, and then
where would
robot would
where would
take
you
it
put
over.
it in the computer? Like, where could you put like
shove it into the screen as hard as you can.
Isn't it so sad that laptops and computers don't really come with a disk drive anymore?
It actually,
it's actually
is very
super
frustrating
sad
because I
you have to
a lot
buy
of
that
discs
separate now
downstairs.
I
that
love
just never used.
physical media. Okay, I like getting like cool boxes of movies with box art on them and stuff. And it sucks that it is becoming increasingly harder to enjoy these things.
Yeah.
Like I remember I had a laptop that just had a disk drive on the side of it.
Oh yeah,
am I old? Is that what's happening? Is this aging? It's terrible.
Man. Yeah, I mean this laptop's almost as thin as a freaking CD now.
Really
so
though, you wouldn't be able to fit it in there. It'd have this big bulge in the middle of it, like it was pregnant.
Into my screen. Anyway, so on DVD, we went over to Blockbuster Video, and my dad rented it.
Even old God. I miss the times.
It's so funny.
Bring back Blockbuster.
This is one of those. Blockbuster just dug themselves a hole, though. It's sad. Go Google Blockbuster if you've never heard of it.
Oh man,
what am I doing?
You've never heard of it. If you were born yesterday.
Anyway, so there were like the one thing me and my dad did with each other was he would watch a movie and I would be in the same room sometimes watching the movie.
and which is so different than I watched a movie with my dad.
Because that's not what it was.
Absolutely not. He was watching a movie, you happened to be present.
That was not the situation. It's how I watched The Matrix for the first time. It's how I watched What Dreams Will Come 18 times, which definitely warps a young boy's brain.
Yeah.
Anyway. I also watched Mamma Mia that way, but I enjoyed that one.
You and your dad quietly singing under your breath the songs, but like not together.
No. He was across the room.
Here I go.
I'm just kidding. If you're listening to this, Dad, hey, probably not listening to this. Anyway, so man, I put things on the internet.
DVD and Blockbuster.
You just let me talk, man.
I'd love to. It's funny because you do the same thing to me.
That's true. We let each other sit. So yeah. Alien vs. Predator came out in 2004. We went and got the Blockbuster DVD. We walked over there because it was kitty corner from my house. We came back, put it on. My mom was like, "What is this movie rated? That's PG-13. He's fine. The boy's fine. Let him be." And my mom left, and we watched the movie. And that was all I ever knew about aliens or predators. Didn't scare me. Didn't anything. I barely remembered it. I probably fell asleep. I do specifically remember feeling very guilty though
because you were watching it.
Like, this movie's scary.
Because I'll say that right now, it is rated PG-13, but it like kind of pushes that a little bit. It didn't feel like a PG-13 movie for sure. I watched this like a week or so ago with my dad, right, and then we watched it for this podcast. So this is my second time viewing it recently. The first time through, not a moment did I think, oh well, this is clearly a PG-13 movie. I didn't think about that at all until you mentioned it today.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it didn't really feel that way, but I also pretty much had the exact same knowledge of aliens and predators. I also seen about half of the Alien movies, including Alien Romulus. Never have I seen any of the Predator movies.
Yeah.
And then I actually, before I even saw the original Alien movie, I thought it came from Alien versus Predators. I thought that was the first iteration of it all. And then thought they took that movie and spun off into their separate things. They went the Aliens and the Predators. They had a little when Mike and Ike split up, you just had Mike and you just had Ike. And so who's who, I don't know. But I don't know why I thought, why would that totally happened? Yeah, there was
Mike. Okay,
they're okay. They're back together now. Everything's totally fine. They worked it all out.
Because I like the ones that taste like candy.
Sorry. Yeah, we had Delicious Alan. We also have Delicious Mike up in the mix as well. But I sincerely thought that that's where they had come from. It doesn't make any sense. I was young. I didn't know why I thought that. But yeah, so I thought they had originally come from Alien versus Predator. Yeah. I don't think I ever watched it when I was younger. I want to say my dad definitely watched it. My mom had seen it. She had mentioned that too. But yeah, I don't think I had ever really seen it until just like a week or so ago. So yeah, this is my first
I would count that as my first viewing. Even though there were things that flashed back into my memory, it was still not.
You were you finally you had the cognitive functions within your brain to actually to process all of this stuff going on in your right.
Let's talk about Alien versus Predator.
I would love to talk about Alien versus Predator.
So it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Now, I think a lot of you know him.
The man sounds familiar to me.
He has directed almost every single Resident Evil movie and written it.
like think about all the Resident Evil movies and then multiply that by like 2 because there's like so many more than I thought that there were.
He did all the Death Race movies. He did surprisingly he did Event Horizon, which shocked me.
Event Horizon's a pretty good movie. I watched that one last year, maybe the year before. Yeah, but it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is funny because as far as the Resident Evil movies go, I don't love all of them. They feel kind of samey to me. It's one of those.
Kind of felt a little bit like Alien versus Predator at times.
Yeah, a little bit, but like, and then also you saw the Monster Hunter movie, right?
I did. That movie was atrocious. Big fan of the games. That movie does not deserve any more time.
Yeah, certainly fed into the whole can't make any good video game adaptation kind of things, and that was certainly that didn't change things for sure.
Yeah, and we got to give credit to Dan O'Bannon.
Dan the man.
He also was he was the mind behind one of the minds behind Aliens, Dark Star, and Return of the Living Dead, which I forgot about.
Dan O'Bannon.
He just he came up with the idea. He was a great guy. Him and Ridley Scott. They set the standard.
Him and Ridley Scott with the help of the horrific H.R. Geiger.
Oh, I love that guy. I love that Geiger.
I love that Geiger.
I made the joke earlier that he was located in Chernobyl, and I think that joke's worth bringing up again.
Why is
Geiger?
it? Yeah,
Geiger counter. Because radiation. Okay,
who did you hire to do the designs for this movie? What's what? I can't. I've already forgot his name. Ridley Scott. Who'd you hire to do this movie? Just some guy. Sorry, what? Just like don't even worry. It's just like some guy. Guy, so you're saying guy. It sounds like you're saying Geiger.
No, her Geiger.
Her.
HR.
It's a HR.
You're calling HR?
HRT?
You're calling HR on me?
Wait, what? You're going to call HR on me now?
Yeah,
I'm asking you a simple question. I just want to know who's working on the designs for this because they're a little fucked up if you're going to ask me.
They all look like vaginas and penises, and I don't understand why.
I need a friend in this time. I'm so scared. There's
That's
so
why
many
I called
of them.
HR. See, HR Geiger was smart. He had HR built into his name, so he could literally paint whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, he can do whatever he wants. He's like, I'm HR. Yeah,
this is all phallic. This is all vagina.
His name is Human Resources Geiger.
He's the Human Resources Geiger.
Yeah, that is not necessarily wrong because there are certainly some resources he would have to go through to get the designs for some of these things, and they
are human.
They look human in nature.
They are human
a lot of the time.
That is one thing Romulus did very well.
Yeah,
very well. If well is the right word.
Well,
everything was so sexual in but not a good way.
An off-putting way. It was effective.
It was effective.
I'll say that much.
It was very effective.
Absolutely.
It was very repulsive. Made you recoil in your seat.
Well, yeah.
Specifically, anyway.
No.
We don't need to talk about it. So this movie actually had 2 wins and 4 nominations.
It's been a minute since we've had a nominated movie.
Yeah. So it won the BMI Film Music Award for Best Music, which is kind of crazy. It was nominated for a Razzie Award in 2005 for Worst Remake or Sequel.
Checks out.
It also was nominated for Worst Film at the Chainsaw Awards. So good work there. What do you say? Good job?
Good job. Again, I don't understand what I would do if I won something like that. I would feel terrible.
Absolutely. It got Best Italian Performer Working Abroad Award.
A very specific award.
At the Golden Grail Awards for Raul Bova.
That's so funny. Wow, what did you win that one Golden Grail Awards? Well, I won it for Best Italian Performer Working Abroad.
But if you BIPWA is what it is in BIPWA.
I got a BIPWA.
Best Italian Performer Working Abroad. Oh, you got a BIPWA?
I got a BIPWA.
Holy crap.
Mom, you're never going
to... Mama, I got the BIPWA.
Mamma mia, I just won a BIPWA.
I put on the Spanish spaghetti right away. Come on.
Mom, I got to go. There's a plant in this pipe. No, sorry.
Wait, no,
Mama, I won a BIPWA.
No, that's good. That's good. Do you think when Mario finally got the princess, he's like, look, I got the BIPWA. Because get it? He was working abroad.
Say that one more time into the mic, please.
He was working abroad.
Oh my God. It's terrible.
Ooh.
Awful.
Right.
Anyway,
and
much
that's the end of our
respect to
podcast.
who won that award.
Raul Bova.
Thank you, Raul Bova. Sorry to make fun of you and the wonderful people of Italia.
He was working abroad.
He was working. I got it. I got the joke, Derek. He was working abroad, which is another offensive term for a lady.
Oh my God. I'm doing a show right now. Sorry, segue. I'm doing a show right now that was written in 2005. And it uses the
only
word,
a year after this movie.
It uses the word chick so much. And I just I love the show's very, very funny. It's very well written and it's super great. I can't say anything bad about it other than the fact that why does it say the word chick so much?
Chick, yeah.
They edited out a bunch of stuff that I thought was pretty offensive. But the word chick, I have to say it in one of my monologues. And I keep trying to find a way around the word chick.
It just sounds nasty. It just sounds like a douchey, like womanizer kind of guy calling a girl a chick. I feel like that was the natural progression of things. We had ones that were more offensive, like broad, and that wasn't great, Yeah. Slowly evolves into something less offensive, broader. Like chick. Broader, I hardly know her.
Stop.
But I sure am working her.
You're working abroad.
This is awful.
Hey, AJ Geiger just walked in.
Oh, God. Hello, Human Resources Geiger. He's also he's brought James Cameron and Ridley Scott with him to scold me.
Why is Antonio Banderas here? Oh, he was a Spanish worker.
He's giving me the big thumbs up, actually. He likes it.
He's a biswa.
To it. You know what's really interesting to me, actually, just like segue a little bit here.
We've never done that.
The original Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. The second Aliens was directed by James Cameron, and Ridley Scott refused to watch Alien versus Predator. He thought it was a stupid idea. Why are you laughing?
He's still laughing at working abroad.
He's looking at me and chuckling. I'm trying to get us on track, trying to get us back to business. Anyway, Ridley Scott refused to watch it. He thought it was a stupid idea. It was like a cash grab trying to bring these two franchises together. James Cameron at first was like, I don't want to do this, especially since there were actually plans to make like a fifth Alien movie.
Oh, yeah.
That eventually didn't go well and transitioned to being about this instead. And I want to say one or the other was going to be attached to direct that one. So anyway, James Cameron at first was like, no, this is going to be stupid. Then once it came out, he did watch it. He's like, I actually kind of like this one. He put it as his number 3 in his ranking of all of the Alien movies.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
Mr. Cameron.
Mr. Cameron.
So anyway, there's 2 more awards for this movie.
Call me James.
It won Worst Movie of the Year and Biggest Disappointment of the Year.
Yikes. Okay, so its wins are not impressive.
No, people hated this movie.
People really do hate on this movie.
I remember that. I do remember that. Over the years, it's even gotten worse of a reputation.
Yeah,
I'm glad we were able to kind of put that out of our head and look at it,
right.
untainted.
Yeah, without that. Because it's important. I mean, that's how we've survived doing this podcast for as long as we have, right? Like, we have to put those criticisms in the back of our mind. We know that it's a thing, but let's come into it with some open eyes and try to check it out. So we definitely did that this time because people have been talking quite a bit about the Alien movies right now for no particular reason, just because, Alien Romulus came out. You should go watch it.
Sorry, I really love that movie.
Sorry, did you just get excited when I say Alien Romulus?
That movie, I get kicked so much ass, man. All right, so that's pretty much it as far as the directorial people go. I feel like that's just I don't know, the Alien movies. I'm gonna get up on my high horse already.
Yeah,
is that okay?
Yeah, high horse. Come on in.
He was just watching Rocky. Hello, I'm here. I just watched Rocky. I just saw Alien Romulus. Let me tell you, the creature towards the end of the movie, really attractive. I loved him.
I don't know about that.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know how I feel about
He has my horse heart.
No, yeah, I was gonna. Horse heart is still just heart if you combine them. My heart.
Quote. Anyway, here's your box. Thanks. My issue that I wanted to get up on this box of, I feel like this movie, maybe not, but this is my opinion, was the catalyst for the Alien and the Predator movies just being action films.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
I have never once looked at AVP and thought, oh, that's a horror movie.
No, of course not.
No part of my brain thought that. And even the later Alien movies just became more action than horror. Though. And I mean, all of the Predator movies, I haven't seen them, obviously, so I'm standing on a fake box here. But from what I can tell, they are not scary.
No, exactly. And when you said, "Hey, we should watch this for the podcast," I had to go and check a couple times. Is this technically a horror movie? Yeah, it is technically an action/horror movie, right? So it does technically count for us. But you're absolutely right. I feel like with the introduction in Aliens, with more of the military, the army militia guys with the guns and stuff, from then on things really get more action over horror and just more and more so as the movies progress, right? And this one definitely really helped push it even further.
Yeah, and that is one more thing about Romulus. That movie shot the series back into what it's meant to be.
And that's a wonderful thing.
Apparently, Prey for Predator did the same thing, and I will be watching that movie.
Back to the roots, please.
Back to my roots. So on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is sitting at 22%. Audience scores at 39. Letterboxd is sitting at a 2.5. IMDb is at a 5.7. This is actually the 20th anniversary for Alien vs. Predator. It came out in August 13th of 2004. 2004. And it is currently August 25th of 2024. So we hit it almost exactly on its 20th
we're coming around just about that 20-year anniversary. And it was a watch.
Where's our AVP
sure.
re-release, huh?
It was where are we going to get that? Bring AVP back into theaters, everybody.
So this movie had a budget of about $60 to $70 million, and it actually grossed $177.4 million in the box office. I feel like people come out for the Alien movies.
They definitely do, but I also feel like it's a safe bet because you're not only coming out for an Alien movie, you're also coming out for a Predator movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So you literally have the two. So you've got this crowd of Alien fans, this crowd of Predator fans. So you've got like it all coming together, like two buff guys like doing a handshake together, right?
Yeah, like right in the middle of the screen.
Like right in the middle of the screen.
That I
one
found
of them
out
is
today was
Arnold
from Predator.
Schwarzenegger and his big old muscles, and
the other guy.
The other guy. Dylan was one of their names. Dennis. Dylan and something. We just learned this. You guys have seen that meme format, though, right? Where it's like two guys
Jesus and Satan
holding their arms together, and it's like, the fans coming together on things. Yeah. Today, we just barely learned that is from Predator, a movie neither of us have seen.
Just look up Predator handshake, unless you're driving. Then you'll laugh at it.
Then just think about two buff guys shaking hands.
All right, what else do we do? Let's see. We riffed. We giffed. We gaffed. We watched.
You didn't tell me about what I'm drinking. That's what I'm curious. I can't really start until you tell me about what is in this green cup in my hand.
Oh, hello, it's me, Bilbo Bartender.
Bilbo, welcome back, my man.
So I just watched all the Predator movies. And
what'd you think?
I loved them. They were all very good. Arnold Schwarzenegger is my best friend. I love him. Kisses. Anyway, so here we are. We have this jar. If you look at it in your brain, it is a big green jar, and I made it look almost exactly like Predator blood. So if you know what Predator blood looks like even give it a little swish.
For those of you that don't know what Predator blood looks like,
it's kind of murky.
It literally looks like if you opened up a glow stick and just shot that all over the room. Like that's basically what Predator blood looks like.
They're getting mercury everywhere, which it might be. Isn't that what? Wait, mercury. No, mercury's like silver.
No, you're right. Mercury's in retrograde right now. That tracks. That's a topical joke.
Is it okay?
It's fine, I think.
Do we need to help?
No, it's only got a couple more days and then it'll be all right again.
Will I die at the end of retrograde?
You might die. You specifically, Bilbo, might perish as a result of this.
It's been swell. I might as well say something to get me canceled. Banana. Oh,
he's been a minion. He's been a minion this whole time. Because in this world, in this woke culture we live in, being a minion gets you canceled. The snowflakes out there can't handle me and my banana-loving yellow skin. My one eye.
I need everyone for just a second to understand the fear in Isaac's eyes when I said I'm going to say something that's going to get me canceled. The absolute horror.
The horror
that went into your eyes.
I just have no idea where he could have gone with it. It could have gone so many different places.
Oh, okay, that was fun. We have a good time.
So should we talk about what we were expecting from this
General
movie?
expectation?
General expectation.
Hey, it's me, General Expectation.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me your general expectation, son.
Sir, yes, sir. I thought it was going to be not bad, but not great either, sir.
I thought it was going to be a silly good time. Thank you.
At ease.
Addy. General Expectation's a new character. Get ready.
He's fun, but he's a little intimidating.
God damn
I feel
it, it was just
scared.
Science Jim in another hat. What? Is every character we have just Science Jim in a different hat?
Even my characters. It's not like it's Count Trivia in a hat. It's still Science Jim in a hat. Like, that's all Puny the punter is.
That's true.
Hey, did you hear about the Italian who was working abroad? It's just like a Mario.
Don't steal my joke. You son of a bitch. That's the funniest thing I've ever said. You come in here, you try to steal it from me.
I'm going to go hop on this mushroom now like a plumber. A-bing.
Wait, actually, that's a really good setup for that joke, though. Like to say it as a normal joke. Do you ever see the Italian who was working abroad? It's Mario.
That's okay. He's all right now. That's
what?
It's just trying to finish some stupid punchline.
That's okay. He's all right.
Yeah, because that's like the finish to like. Do you hear what happened to the Italian guy working abroad who got his left arm and his left leg cut off? That's okay. He's all right now.
Oh, you're being stupid. No, that was good.
Always has been. It's never been not stupid.
He's all right now. No,
So
it's
let's-
okay. They actually left alone.
Oh my
left him
God!
alone.
No, they left for dead.
Oh, that's good too. All right, so
Our
let's talk about expectations.
The general's coming back, and I don't want to do push-ups again. Our expectations. First expectation. I was thinking too much of the people, not much of like the titular monsters in it, neither the alien nor the predator in it. Because I feel like that's something that happens a lot. You see that in like what was another crossover thing, like Freddy versus Jason, right? It's like I don't want to see these people. I'm here for the two characters you mentioned in the title, please.
Yeah, absolutely. My first expectation is 2000s is hell.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
I just like from the trailer, I just imagined it was going to be exactly like what's that 2000s movies we watched? Like all of them. Like all of the
Alone in the Dark.
Alone in the Dark.
And Final Destination. Definitely those vibes.
Thank you for telling me. I couldn't think of any.
You know, sometimes you'll bring up movies we've watched for this podcast, and like I couldn't tell you like three things about these.
We did watch Final Destination.
We did, yeah, we did. See what I mean?
shit.
And we have an entire episode where we talk in length about these things. How did I forget it already?
Because as soon as we hit stop and then we hit publish, it just goes away.
goes out of our brains. We
It's
just
just
leave it. We
gone.
wash our hands clean of the sin.
We just
Because
wash our
horror is a
hands.
sin. Can we have these two? These are our new characters for the podcast.
We're just Science Jim in a
lovely-
hat.
We're lovely church ladies who are just
Hello.
Science Jim in a hat. We're here to tell you that horror is a sin.
Now, you children, if you go to church on Sunday, you will not be watching horror. Because I don't know
Absolutely
if you
not.
understand, but the first three letters of horror, that spells
Whore.
Oh, Pastor Dave is here.
I'm sorry
And-
about it. Pastor Davis got a little hot in the seat, you know, like a whore in church. Whore, sorry. Sorry, I get a little worked up over whores.
And you know that scary story we told you
Sorry.
every day about the whore of Babylon. And we don't want you to end up just like her, so stop watching horror.
And that's why we're here to tell you about
die.
the horrors of the world. So or die. You stop watching that horror or die.
Or whore.
Or whore.
You stop watching
that
whore.
horse, the horrors, or the
the
whores,
whores.
or die.
That. And if you keep watching that horror, well, you'll go straight to hell. So
You're-
you have a
you're
great
going
day.
right on down.
You'll just go straight to hell. All right.
Thank you.
I've been Martha.
And I've been Davis. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Sunday.
Oh, Martha Davis, you'll never make it.
My next expectation, I said nobody wins. We can't have one beat the other, because that is something that is really tough about these things. I feel like there's something about like giving a fan base something to kind of, you know, banter about with each other and disagree with about things like, you know, who would win in a fight, Batman versus Superman kind of thing. You don't want to give a definitive like, here it is right in front of you. This is who would win. That's your answer. This is canonically who would win or what. So I felt like this one would not give us either or. I feel like either both would win or both would lose at the end of this. Yeah.
I like that. Martha likes that too. She told me. The story will
Horror is
actually
a
be.
sin. Just letting you know. Don't you forget it. You're going to hell, you whores.
Thank you, Davis. My expectation. We got to remember Martha Davis. If nothing
Martha
else comes
Davis.
from this episode,
Either Martha Davis and general expectation got to stick around.
general expectations.
Hey, sir.
The story will actually be decent. Was my next expectation. I don't know. I had a feeling. I was watching the trailer, and I was like, you know, I think they might go somewhere cool with this story. I really felt it in my bones.
In your dare I say my bones?
Dare I say my bones?
Deep within my core. I said I would have characters that I won't hate dying, but I won't love. Because something you find in any horror movie, but especially the less than great ones, is like there are characters that it's like, just die already. You're either annoying or two-dimensional. I just don't care about you. So I felt like this might have some characters like that, but also some that I actually would maybe root for, like as some kind of protagonist, I would actually care. Like, no, please don't kill them. I love that person. So I was hoping we would have some of those in this one.
For sure. Really cheesy action that ruins any scare from the aliens or the predators. Like,
Totally.
There was a couple guys in suits.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
No, we know it's an action horror movie, so that's easy. We could expect that. I said I was expecting some grand atmosphere and sets, because I feel like that's something. While the 2000s had some really corniness to them that makes you kind of roll your eyes. There is something about the fact that, maybe we didn't have or didn't lean on technology quite as much. So you really had to build out entire practical sets, go film on location. And that really helps to create this big old grand sense of atmosphere within the worlds that I feel like we don't have as much these days. And that's my time. Thank you, everybody. What's your next expectation?
I mean, basically that.
Really?
But in a different vein. I just wanted to... I expected to not be scared of the aliens. Like, I wanted to be, but I was worried... I mean, it's a different vein than what you were saying. It's the same vein as my last expectation.
Oh, I see.
Sorry. I just expected to, like, see the aliens, like the xenomorphs, and like want to be scared from them.
Yes.
But not get any of it.
And it's tough. Like, and we even talked about like how in Aliens you bring in a lot of people with a lot of guns. Suddenly they can just like mow down a bunch of aliens, and suddenly they're not as scary. Because that's something that's incredibly terrifying about the xenomorph in the first movie is that they don't really have the proper equipment to just like mow it down with bullets and things like that, and it is very scary. You don't know how they're going to take it down. It feels like this like impossible, unmoving, like constantly moving force, And so in this one, it's kind of tough because like you have predators who we know have intense technology and stuff like that. They could probably make short work of them.
Yeah.
How are they going to stay scary, I guess?
Who's going to be scared?
It's going to be scared. My final expectation, which is as always, the monsters will look fantastic. That is something that I feel like remains consistent throughout all of the movies for either Alien or the Predators. Like the way that they look, their designs, their practical suits that they use for them always look great. They look really cool.
Oh, absolutely. And then my final expectation, it's just going to be an action movie.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything scary about it. It's just going to be an action movie. 3 of my expectations were almost the identical same, but that's okay.
That's all right. So let's hop on the computer here. I'm going to plug into my synthetic Derek here. That's his dial-up modem. That's going. Is that a phone? Hold on, let me answer that. Hello.
Yes, hello, it's me, Diane, from next door. I just watched this really scary movie called Aliens versus Predators. You stop making banter and you just start talking about the fucking movie.
You're right. So is that it's she has a gun. She has a gun. Somebody call the cops.
please start talking.
We'll talk about the movie. We'll talk about the movie. Absolutely. Just put the gun away.
Thank you all for still being here if you haven't left.
So let's get into Alien versus Predator from 2004. We start out with seeing the Weyland Corporation satellite in space. It picks up on something in Antarctica. We see a couple of scientists hanging out in their little lab somewhere. They are watching like one of the Frankenstein movies just on their computer. I don't know which one it is, but I know it was one specifically where Bela Lugosi was playing Frankenstein. That's how deep in the lore I am.
I have to correct you.
What's
they
up?
were not watching that on a computer.
It was like a
CRT TV VHS
with a
combo.
keyboard in front of it.
I had that exact same TV growing up. I watched a Vita on it. It was glorious. Keep going.
It's also worth noting that the scientists in this first scene, some of them are people who were part of like the effects team that they had just used as the actors for that scene.
Yeah.
But so it shows it briefly on the little CRT TV that they find some blueprints like deep underground, and that's basically all we get for now. So we know the Weyland Corporation, who is like the big company in all of the Alien movies, again later known as the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Somewhere they had some merger. I don't know too much more about that, but we know Weyland exists in this one, and they're up to something.
Oh, what are they doing?
And right now they're getting a team together, and in like rapid succession we start meeting all of the members of this team that Mr. Weyland of the Weyland Corporation is putting together. So we start out with who will end up being our final girl, Alexa Woods. She gets
Spoilers.
an offer. Sorry, who might be our final girl,
man.
It's just like we say, like you see a character like, yeah, she's gonna be the final girl for sure.
Oh, immediately.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there was no other choice.
No, of course not. So Alexa Woods is here. She gets an offer from Mr. Weyland himself for some expedition, right? Now we move on to Mexico. At an archaeological dig site, 2 men also get asked to join on this expedition for Weyland Corporation. Their names are Sebastian and Thomas. And then we meet another character by name who's like on the helicopter ride over to this operation with Alexa is this man named Graham, who's like he's like a chemical engineer who is not that important to the story.
1 if by ice, 2 if by land, 1 if by air.
1 if by helicopter.
1 by helicopter. She was like climbing an ice wall.
Yeah.
They could not have made them any more diverse from each other.
Really, though,
They're
yeah.
like,
Because you find Alexa
this lady's
climbing an
in
ice
Antarctica.
wall.
He's in freaking Mexico. This other guy, he's in the sky.
He's in space. He's flying up in the air. But so all of these people meet and more meet on this one ice ship, and Mr. Wayland himself debriefs them on why they've been gathered here. So he has found information pointing to there being an ancient pyramid of unknown origins located 2,000 feet below the ice of Antarctica, and some heat bloom gave it away. That's what they call it. And like mapping out that heat bloom, he sees the entire workings of basically a whole ass pyramid here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Derek, you were laughing there for a second.
I
You all right?
just keep imagining they had this like silly like image of the pyramid.
It was very
so corny,
very dated technology.
But specifically, my favorite part about it is like it was obvious they just had this like fake tablet that they were looking at.
Yeah.
And there was one moment where one of the guys was like pretending to move it with his finger,
like he's Tony Stark,
but his finger wasn't like touching the right spots.
Yeah,
and so he kept just like kind of petting it. It looked really funny.
Because you imagine, like, as an actor, you'd probably be like, okay, so what do you want me to do exactly? Like, I'll just kind of think around on it. We'll fix it with the VFX later. They'll figure it out.
They didn't have iPads then. So
that's true. They had no idea because Paul Blart hadn't invented the Apple iPad then.
Thank God for Paul Blart.
He was still working on it. Thank you. God bless you,
Blart. He did his plart. Is that anything?
That's everything.
Okay.
So Alexa, our main character here, will serve as their guide through this perilous journey through the cold, right? I guess that's kind of her specialty because everyone gathered here is there for some reason, right? There's some asset to the team, but she has many concerns with the safety for everyone, and she basically tells them like it's way too dangerous to do this. You don't have the proper time to do this. I can't be your guide. Like, sorry about it. And Wayland is like kind enough about it. He's like, all right, I guess we'll have to go with our second or third best choice. You can leave. But he's still going through with his plan. He's like, you can leave if you don't want to be part of this, whatever, but I'm still going to do it.
I'm
right?
still going to go to Antarctica.
Yeah. Cause what they don't know is that Mr. Wayland is like kind of on his last leg. He's having some health complications and he wants to like leave his mark on the world, on society and stuff like that. And he really sees this as like his big last ditch effort to actually make some kind of legacy for him. Right.
Yeah.
Alexa is eventually swayed to stay thanks to the other crew members who are like, come on, do you really think we can do this without you? We really need your help. Come on, you're
going to climb an ice
valuable
mountain.
member of the team. There's a lot of ice, and ice scares me, and you know ice. Then we cut to an alien ship up in space belonging to the Predators of Predator fame. They appear to be asleep, and they're being woken up, and during their awakening sequence, a big-ass laser shoots from their ship onto Earth.
Yeah, man.
For what reason, we don't know, but they just shoot a big old laser. Will you give me like some Foley work of like this Predator ship like waking up and then shooting a big old laser?
Oh, cool.
Is that what they sound like when they're waking up? What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're all waking up from cryo, and then that was the laser.
I like the sound of the laser.
I actually don't think that was accurate. Let me try again.
Okay, yeah, take two. That's pretty good. That was kind of more of what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Can you give just some more of like the ship waking up, like the? You've got mail. There's a deleted scene where the Predator wakes up and he has to go like check his email after being in cryo sleep.
That'd be funny. You know, when I was Googling this movie, because we use Google, it's pretty cool. It's a cool new invention by Paul Blart. When I was Googling it, I found there was a special feature or like a secret, like an Easter egg. You know how DVDs used to have Easter eggs?
God,
there was an Easter egg.
We need more physical media.
On the DVD for Alien vs. Predator, where Scooby-Doo and Shaggy would like appear for a moment.
Don't shut up.
I don't know why.
You're messing. Shut up.
I'm
this
serious.
is not. You're bullshitting me so hard right now.
That's so specific. How can I just make that up?
Because you would.
I would,
so
but I'm not.
in what capacity for Alien versus Predator that Shaggy and Scooby are showing up? There's no way that is actually a real thing. Why would this exist? He's moving this to me. Hold on. He's showing me a video that is currently titled Scooby-Doo and Alien vs. Predator DVD scene selections menu concept art.
Did you see him?
No, concept. What is?
Oh, maybe it's concept art.
Maybe it is.
No. It's there.
It like glitches over on like the scene selection, and you can see Scooby-Doo characters.
I don't know why.
Why does this exist?
I don't know why they're there. I'm just happy about it.
What would Scooby and Shaggy's reaction be to seeing either the alien or the predator?
Hey, I think this is just a concept. I don't think it's real. I think I was lied to by the internet. So I didn't lie to you, but the internet lied to me.
Is that?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be crazy if just like on the scene selection on the DVD, just like Scooby and Shaggy show up? Raggy, Predators.
Oh no, Predators.
Like Scoob. Did you say they're on Reddit, Scoob?
No, Raggy.
Predators.
Oh,
like I know.
Raggy, he has an alien in his mouth.
Like
Give him a
Scoob,
whoopee
are you
whack.
trying to ask if I'm the asshole? Is that what the Redditors are saying?
They're saying a lot of bad shit about you. Get out of there.
I'm the Rupee Max subreddit.
Oh, God. And it's all just pictures of Scooby-Doo's ass. The Scooby snacks. All right, let's move on.
Real Raggy Aurelian.
I'm sorry, everyone. We're just on like a roll with comedy today, so I hope you're enjoying it with
The
us.
crew then arrives at their destination on an island off of Antarctica, right? This location leads to an abandoned village that used to be used as a whaling station. It's all like full of just random whale bones, which
Honestly, look dope.
It's honestly kind of cool. Like, did it serve a lot of a purpose? No, I just think it's fun to see cool, like whale rib cages all over the place. It filled the space very well. And they said they don't really get back onto this, but it just says everyone disappeared overnight. It was a big mystery, they say. Man. After surveying the area, somebody finds a perfectly drilled hole at a perfect 30-degree angle. Is that the laser?
Yeah.
It's drilled straight down to the pyramid, making their job much easier. That was definitely what the Predator laser from space was there for. You can even see, they look behind them, the perfectly spherical shape of the laser went through buildings and through the ice, right?
Hey, it's me, Chris Hansen, and you're on a Catch a Predator.
Hello, it's me, Chris Hansen, and we're here to catch a predator.
Dude, I fell down a rabbit hole the other day, and I watched like 5 hours of To Catch a Predator. It is hilarious. Anyway, that's my whole story.
My brother showed me this really stupid video that he finds the humor in it hilarious, but I think it's stupid. He's like, someone made this stupid, I want to say it's like a TikTok or something, where somebody they try to catch a predator, but he just really wants a slice of his pizza. And the dude's like, oh, I didn't know this was a trap. I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. He's like, yeah, I bet you weren't expecting such a hungry boy. Let me get a slice of some of that pizza.
I've seen that. You've never expected a hungry boy. Give me your pizza. No, there's one here's what I watched where the guy's like trying to distract Chris Hansen with pizza. He's like, here, take this. Do you want a slice of pizza? And Chris, I will not be having your pizza. Your child diddler. He didn't say that. I was just trying to remain.
We're here to catch a predator. Only in this case, we're the predators. We're here to catch you. We're flipping the script here, you see? So they find a big hole that leads all the way down to the pyramid thing, right? So they set up zip lines from the top all the way down to the bottom to safely travel to the pyramid. Of course, it messes up, and Mr. Wayland is actually the one that like his zip tie cable breaks, and he starts sliding all the way down to the bottom.
And instead of his name being Wayland, it was
Wheeland. And that's how he got his famous nickname, Wheeland.
It wasn't because of the little wee he took on the drive.
He didn't take a wee-wee in his pants, you see. I can't stop talking like this.
He didn't. I mean, at least you get stuck in the Chris Hansen
I'm
voice.
a broken man.
I am a broken man. Please help me.
But yeah, Mr. Wheeland is kind of in danger because he's already like having health complications, right? Meanwhile, the predators are dropped from their... I can't. I'm going to go the whole rest of the movie talking like this. You've ruined me.
We're here today in Antarctica to catch a predator. What they don't know is there are hidden cameras everywhere.
We've set up cameras everywhere. You can't hide from us with your cloaking devices. We've got infrared.
They think they've been chatting with a 12-year-old girl, when in reality, it's a bunch of xenomorphs.
It's a bunch of aliens.
I have had my...
It's actually 3 aliens in a coat.
This is Rebecca. She's actually 3 aliens in a coat. We told our producers that she was a college student. I don't know. I get nothing. If you want to catch a predator, that's funny.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, you didn't write it down. Did you know these xenomorphs have names?
Do they?
Yeah.
The predators or the xenomorphs?
The predators.
The predators.
The predators.
What are the names of the predators?
The predators' names are Scar, Celtic, and Chopper.
They have names?
Yeah, man.
When were those ever mentioned? The predators can't talk.
I don't know, man. I just know their names.
Well, okay, so now
Thank
we
you,
have
internet.
Sorry, we have Scar, Celtic and Chopper. Okay, now the three of them drop from their ship in three little launch pods,
And I will tell you which is which based on their outcomes.
personalities, their attributes.
Yeah,
I guess
Chris Hansen really likes Scar. So
I'm trying to think if I can guess which one is which. I feel like I might maybe be able to.
Okay, so as they reach their outcomes,
yes,
you guess.
We'll guess. Okay. So they drop out of the ship. At the bottom of the perfectly drilled hole they came across, they find the ancient pyramid perfectly unscathed. It looks just how they wanted it to. It's just like in this nice little ice dome, 2,000 miles underground, right? They enter the pyramid and see carvings on the walls of xenomorphs and predators fighting with each other. Somebody, not gonna name names, not looking at anybody, steps on a
Chris
booby
Hansen.
trap. It was me, Chris Hansen. Bet you weren't expecting such a heavy boy to step on that tile. and create a cause of events that will the ramifications will last the rest of this movie. I can't keep doing this. Somebody steps on a booby trap, which makes a queen.
He thought he was stepping on a normal booby, but in reality, it was a booby trap.
A queen xenomorph appears deep within the pyramid. She's beautiful, but she was also frozen for a while. So I guess when somebody steps into this pyramid, it starts this chain of events where deep in the bottom of this pyramid area, they had Derek is still laughing. I'm trying so hard.
They totally. This whole thing is a Catch a Predator episode. They got catfished.
You're so right.
We'll explain that later when they get to that plot.
Oh my God.
It's totally true.
It's terrible. It's terrible. So, in Aliens, the sequel to the first Alien movie, we meet what births all of these aliens, which is basically like a queen xenomorph. Basically just
gross.
A bigger, badder, scarier alien xenomorph that lays eggs, right?
It's pretty sick, though.
It's pretty sick. It's pretty cool. But we see that they have one of these locked underground. She comes up and she starts to break herself out of her cool little frozen state, but she is chained and shackled up here. So this queenomorph ain't going nowhere. Ain't going out of here. So the three predators, Scar, Chopper, and Celtic, right? So not Scar.
Scar, Celtic, and Chopper.
I was almost right. I almost had those. The three predators wreak havoc on the remaining crew members that were up on the surface, right?
Yeah, they fuck them up.
There's not a lot to say there. They pretty much just
string them up.
Yeah.
Like cattle.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, the predators, as we know them in their lore, are like hunters. That is their thing. They're very honorable, prideful hunters, right?
Yep.
So they make short work of this easy prey, utilizing their infrared technology and their cloaking abilities to kill off everyone no problem. Absolutely no issues here. The team in the temple come across the sacrificial chamber. There's an array of tables with corpses still rotting on the top of them, and one of them translates the readings on the table, and it says, "They gave their lives to the hunt, so the hunt could begin." Or should I say it they gave their lives so the hunt could begin.
Why are you so good at Chris Hansen? I don't know. I'm mad about it.
there's more stuff at play here, right? Somebody notices that. Shut up. Derek, I gotta do a podcast. Somebody notices that the bones on the chests of all of these corpses were bent straight out, indicating that something from inside broke out of the body. And then we get another shot of the queen xenomorph, laying eggs underground on literally a conveyor belt.
It was incredible.
It's alien automation.
My automation brain went nuts.
It was nasty, though.
Yeah,
it looks yucca. It was really gross.
It's how I imagine eggs are birthed from a chicken.
Yeah.
From the cloaca.
Yeah.
Do you think that...
I wish you didn't have to say that.
Do you think that this xenomorph has a cloaca?
I think maybe. Derek, I feel, you ever see Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire in
Cloaca?
it? You know how the Green Goblin, played by the wonderful Willem Dafoe, has the Green Goblin mask and character talking to him the whole time, as this kind of devil on his shoulder. That's Chris Hansen to me right now. I bet you really want to say cloaca in this voice. That's what's happening to
you
me.
Don't understand. I'm Chris Hansen. Your Chris Hansen's really good.
Possessed.
It's okay.
Can we have a bonus episode where we do the exorcism of Chris? The exorcism of Chris Hansen from my body.
Exorcism of Chris
I need to be exercised, please.
He just puts him on a treadmill.
He puts them on the conveyor belt with all of these eggs. He's running with them. Better not step on these eggs. So
I may think there's a delicious omelet in one of these eggs, but in reality, It's a face hugger. Man.
We're so far from the point we're never going to finish this
time.
movie. The team in the pyramid splits up, some going a bit deeper below the sacrificial chamber. They find a sarcophagus that has a combination lock on it. Sebastian figures it out and he opens it to reveal some predator tech. It looks like guns, basically, is what's inside of the sarcophagus
I
here.
thought we were going to find some yummy gold.
Instead,
we found...
Can we edit this movie and just put Chris Hansen in like every scene with the rest of the team?
Yeah, but no. Okay.
But he's really hungry?
So while we were watching this movie, I kept trying to give catchphrases to the predators.
He sure did.
And I want to edit of the predators giving those catchphrases, but I want them to be in Chris Hansen's voice now. So like there's a moment where one of the predators shoots a guy with a net, and I was like, see you next time. But imagine it.
See you net time. It's terrible. It's
Predators
awful.
needs catchphrases, and the Alien franchise needs more Chris Hansen.
If you're not busy, we'll get you on the line.
You've caught 1,000 perverts.
Our people will
Come
talk to
catch
your
an
people.
alien.
Come catch an alien. He's caught 1,000 predators, but the biggest predator was not of this earth.
That's pretty good. But we make him show up. He thinks he's this young
So
man.
we're doing it to him now.
This is Chris Hansen. He thinks he's here to meet a 70-year-old man who's been talking to children. In reality, he's here to meet an alien.
He's here to meet a xenomorph with acid for blood and a second mouth in its mouth.
I just imagine the xenomorph walks in the room. He's just like stalking around like the xenomorphs do. And then Chris Hansen just walks out of the doorway. Take a seat.
This is terrible.
This is incredible.
This is
perfect
incredible,
content.
and it's terrible. So they find these guns inside of the sarcophagus, right? They remove the guns from the sarcophagus, and it triggers the pyramid to begin shifting and moving into a new arrangement. Walls are coming down and moving in the place of other ones, like trap doors are opening. It's pretty cool, but now it's trapping everyone in these new places. So either they're stuck entirely, or they only have like one route out of there instead. In the sacrificial chamber, all of the doors come down, and then xenomorph eggs pop up onto those sacrificial tables. It's enough for everyone in the room to get a lovely little face hug. What's that? Is that the alien sound? Oh no, here they come. I feel like the Green Goblin with Chris Hansen. He wants to come out of me so bad. I feel like a werewolf right now. I
You
feel so
thought
crazy.
it was going to be Isaac Carrillo, but in reality, it was Chris Hansen.
It's like slipping into my normal dialogue. I don't know how to not talk. I'll talk like in a lower register so he doesn't come out.
That's fine.
So the beast does not come out from inside.
If you want to hear less Chris Hansen, make no sound. Now cheer if you want to hear more Chris Hansen. Oh, did you hear that?
We understand.
All of our audience?
All
just
Chris
cheer.
Hansen all the time. So basically, in the sacrificial chamber, all of the xenomorph eggs come up. And if for some reason you don't know much about the lore of Alien and stuff like that, essentially how it works, a little egg sac is created, and this creature that looks like a spider with this like big long tail comes out, latches itself to your face, implants the egg of what is an actual xenomorph inside of you that then bursts out of your chest. And that's basically how that works, right? So now this sacrificial room, we understand what its purpose was to create aliens, right? So they attack. There is a lady who is in there who wasn't really that mentionable up until this point. She starts to freak out, and you see this little baby alien burst through her chest. And so looks like Xenomorph's back on the menu.
Oh, yeah.
It's our first. We've seen predators a lot in this movie, but not a lot of aliens until this point.
Or orcs from Lord of the Rings.
Or orcs from Lord of the Rings. We could have a lot of that. Can we put Chris Hansen in Lord of the Rings?
No, we can't because that's another 20-minute tangent.
You're right.
So we have to keep going.
So the predators begin to pick off some of the team members as they try to find a way out of the building, right? The pyramids begin to shift yet again, separating and trapping them from each other. They're basically being sectioned off kind of like rats in a maze, and one of them even makes a comment kind of like that. And then we finally see our first full-grown xenomorph as it attacks this one poor man, followed by several more aliens. He also gets Graham, too, who wasn't that mentionable, but I kind of liked him. He was a sweet guy who was, like, taking pictures because he's like, oh, my kids love these, like he was just a cute little nerdy guy. You're giving me these squinty eyes, Derek, but you said you didn't want him to die.
Oh, there he is.
Yes.
I was trying to remember him.
not that memorable, you know.
It wasn't Pepsi Man. That's all it matters.
The predators keep up their hunt because they're trying to receive the stolen guns, right? Like they came to this pyramid for those things. Now the people have them. They're kind of getting in the way of this whole thing, right? So they attack again. They trap a man in a steel net that slowly tightens to kill him. It's actually it's pretty brutal. Like you can see it kind of start to cut like into his forehead. It's like pressing the gun that he was holding into his body and like breaking it. Like it seems like a really horrible way to go.
Pretty terrible, yeah.
And then he says, "Net to meet you."
Net to meet you.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or see you net time.
See you net time.
I think that one was.
That might have been it, yeah.
See you net time.
No, we're not doing it again.
No, it had to be Chris Hansen's voice.
Get out of here.
I made it canon.
You can't hurt me anymore, Chris Hansen. So
there's like 1,000 people in prison right now.
You're right.
Who are making that exact same
This
statement.
is terrible.
You can't hurt me anymore, Chris
I don't want to
Hansen.
be associated with that. Just before a cloaked predator can kill Alexa, because he's sitting there with like, they have this kind of cool shimmery effect when they're using their like invisibility thing. So he's standing there right in front of Alexa about to stab her, and then he gets stabbed through the back by a xenomorph. And you just see this big old splash of really bright green blood cover Alexa. And so now we get a proper alien versus predator fight going on. And it's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, man.
But Derek did mention this. The camera is moving around just a bit too much.
It was kind of frustrating because like I wanted to watch it, but then as I was complaining about not being able to see it, we did realize this was 2005 and it was a couple guys in suits.
Right.
And I'm assuming those suits weren't super easy to move
Exactly.
around.
There was, and I love this, there was a lot of shots, a lot of the fight that was two actual people in full practical suits. And you have to imagine those cannot be easy to move around in, right?
No,
absolutely not. But these two really can go toe to toe. Like they're fairly evenly matched. It's not like one quickly overpowers another one. Like they're actually having a pretty decent fight here.
And is this the one where he gets his tail cut off and fights back the xenomorph?
I think so.
Gets his tail cut off.
I
and
love
he
this
fights
part.
back with the blood.
It shows how smart the xenomorphs are because they always have been.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell
he
about
gets his
that.
tail cut off, and then the predator is approaching him. You know, he's like, "Oh, you're approaching me. I can't get any closer without approaching you." You know, the JoJo thing, and he starts spraying him with like his tail poison.
Yeah, because a big plot point for the xenomorphs in the Alien movies, they have acid for blood, which makes it kind of hard to kill them in a space shuttle that could fall through the floor and make a hole into space, right?
It's a great punk rock album.
Really,
Acid for Blood.
Acid for Blood is pretty good, but
Let's
that's
steal that.
so yeah. The xenomorph is genius. It starts to flick its cut off tail to get the blood onto the predator.
Pretty dang smart.
It's pretty dang smart. But then there's also a pretty good sequence where like the predator takes it by the tail and swings it around into the walls like it's a wrestler.
It was very like a la Gandalf spinning at the top of the tower.
Yeah.
Kind of cheesy spinning.
But it's really good. I liked
fun.
it. But so the predator then traps the xenomorph in one of those steel nets that it used just a moment ago, right? So it's closing in and making it start to bleed acid on the top of its head, but it's acid, right? So it does bleed through the net, breaking free from the netting, allowing it to kill the predator with one swift, like, second mouth from its mouth, right into its face. Dead. Done.
Which one was that died? Guess.
That
Celtic, Chopper, or Scar?
that was Celtic.
Probably.
I was gonna say, do you actually know?
I just know which ones die.
That's fair.
So it was either Celtic or
Celtic or
one.
probably Chopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
So
it was a fun game.
no, it's what is mentioned. What is noticeable about this though is that alien who had the net on its head, it has that scar for the rest of the movie, and it's got this really cool grid pattern of this green on the top of its head that I just thought looked really cool.
Yeah.
So moving forward, another predator catches up with Sebastian, Alexa, and Mr. Wayland. Right now, this is the only predator that's left now.
Yep.
Because
just Scar.
One of them got stabbed through. The second one had that fight,
Spoilers,
now died.
His name's Scar.
Scar is the only one that's alive now, right? So Scar catches up with Sebastian, Alexa, and Mr. Wayland. It almost kills Mr. Wayland, but decides not to because it uses its infrared vision thing to look inside of him and sees all of the cancer.
If only he had looked inside of himself, Scar had looked inside of himself
And
and
saw
not
that
killed
he-
Mufasa. Is that anything?
If only he looked inside of himself and saw that his murderous rage within him was a cancer itself.
Yeah.
And he could see that he himself was a predator.
I knew you were doing it. I had a big grin on my
Stop,
face.
Derek, please kill me.
I'm going to make you a Chris Hansen puppet.
No. So he decides not to kill Mr. Wayland, right? But that doesn't stop Mr. Wayland from trying to kill it anyway. He literally, as the predator passes him by, he takes a flare and some gas of some kind and basically makes a flamethrower and tries to catch him on fire. So yeah, obviously that doesn't kill the predator. He doesn't like that. With one quick jab from his arm blades like Wolverine, just straight through him. That's the end of Mr.
Okay,
Wayland.
so this whole time I had a weird problem with the Predators.
Yeah, what's up?
Like, they kind of look super cheesy. Like, I don't know what it is about them. I know that their design was a little tweaked for this movie.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. They just look so corny.
There's something about, like, the design looks cool, but then you actually see it in action, and the way they are edited around, even in, like, the Predator movies, they're kind of corny, right?
Kind of corny, but they are also very badass.
They're pretty
very
cool. Like, they have badass tech and, like, cool looks.
And like, I like their
and
lore, as we'll come to find out. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so they look pretty cool there. But so Mr. Wayland dies now, right? Sebastian and Alexa manage to escape, and they're temporarily safe because a door, like, closed off behind them, right? They watch as that Predator, Scar, successfully kills a Xenomorph and then marks themselves with the Xenomorph's acidic blood. It's actually really cool. Like, there's the head of a Xenomorph right next to him, and just one quick slash through the middle of its head, and it does that cool, like, thing in samurai movies where, like, it slowly falls off and, like, splits in half.
I guess I got ahead of that one. It's Chris Hansen.
Is the Chris Hansen pun there? It was really good. But so it's basically what we've come to discover is, like, this whole thing going on here. This pyramid exists for a rite of passage for the Predator race, I guess. And so once they've successfully killed a Xenomorph, they take the acidic blood and mark themselves. So he takes it, marks it, kind of looks like a T shape into his helmet, removes the helmet, and then carves it into his forehead as well. Yeah. So now, like, he's a man today. So this whole thing was basically his Predator bar mitzvah.
Yeah. Predator's bar mitzvah is actually this movie.
Yeah,
good for him.
Well, it's good for him. Today you became a man.
I'm showing up to the Predator's bar mitzvah, where there's many. Never mind.
Not going there.
No, keep going.
The Predator removes his mask, right, and he gets attacked by a facehugger, but it cuts away just before we see any more, so you don't know. Did the facehugger get a hold of him, and now he's got an alien inside of him?
You know my logic. If I don't see a corpse, if I don't see someone die, they're not dead.
They're not
if I don't see a facehugger die and or impregnate someone, they're impregnated.
So Sebastian gives this big exposition dump about what this temple is and what's happening. So basically, like I mentioned, this is all a rite of passage for the Predators. This is a hunt. Apparently, they came to Earth forever ago. They taught humans how to, like, build and start a society and stuff like that. They taught them to basically worship the Predators. They built these pyramids, and they would sacrifice themselves willingly to, like, ingest, like, the alien inside of them. The Xenomorph would burst forward, and then the Predators would basically have a heyday hunting them all down, right?
I love this. It's the Temple of Doom.
It's a cool concept. It's a pretty cool concept that I thought actually worked pretty well to, like, put the aliens and the Predators in one movie together and not make it feel, like, so disjointed.
I thought it was a really smart idea.
It's a cool concept,
and
right?
Especially because it's like, the humans are pointless.
Yes.
They're just there to literally become eggs.
Yes. And they're technically not even supposed to be there. You know, like, they shouldn't be a part of this. The Predators were not expecting the people to be there, right? But that's why they have the alien queen in the basement making babies, right? So they can hunt them down. So
they just warm up the alien queen every 100 years.
Yeah, they unfreeze her. Oh, God. So yeah, this is all a hunt for them, right? Mm-hmm. What's up, Derek?
The alien queen is...
No,
I've arrived here at the temple.
Oh my God.
And the Predators are on their way. They think they're coming here to meet an 13-year-old girl, when in reality, it's a bunch of alien eggs.
It's actually a 100-year-old woman alien who's making babies.
There you go. That's good. This joke is dead.
So Alexa decides they're in the middle of a war that they don't belong in, right? And they need to give the Predator his gun back. And that's basically, she's like, because she's telling Sebastian this, he's like, are you crazy? Like, then he'll kill us. Like, no, you don't understand. Like, we are not supposed to be a part of this. Give them their gun back and we will be safe, right? They get attacked by Xenomorphs, and Sebastian gets dragged away by the one Xeno that was marked by the net, right? I want to say, I was reading a trivia thing. They called him, like, they either called him Grid or, like, Nethead is what they called him. Cool. It's such a fun name. Yeah. But again, like Derek said, you didn't see him die, didn't see a corpse, so he's just dragged away. Could maybe be alive. I don't know. So Alexa runs to find him, and she finds the Predator and makes friends with it by returning the weapon, returning that gun that's basically like a cannon mounted on his shoulder. And then they're attacked by a Xenomorph, and Alexa manages to kill the Xenomorph by impaling it on one of the Predator's staffs. It seemed kind of like an accident, but she's basically like proven herself as a worthy warrior to this predator. So now he can kind of trust her. So the predator puts on his gun and just starts blasting.
He just starts blasting.
Like, no joke, it's like this big, it's like a plasma cannon, and like one shot, pew, 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 all of these,
pretty dope.
All of these aliens are done for. So no wonder they wanted these guns, which makes me wonder, like, if you put an alien and a predator toe-to-toe without the predator's tech, could they fight? Could they win like this?
I think that the predator would stand a chance.
Yeah,
because we kind of see something like
this
that.
is basically the discussion of like Batman versus Superman, right? Where it's like Superman doesn't have all this tech and stuff; he just has superpowers. Batman does not. So to this, I guess I would say, like, how much prep time does the predator have? Huh?
Yeah, predator time.
Predator time. So the predator decides, he makes a decision to team up with Alexa, and he arms her with a weapon and a shield. And this is actually pretty badass. I really like this.
Dope.
He makes a shield out of the Xenomorph's head because he shows her, by dripping some Xenomorph blood onto it, it's acid resistant. So it's safe for her, right? And then he makes a staff out of its tail. And I thought that was pretty badass. So she's walking around with this alien tail staff in its head as like this arm shield thing. It looks really cool.
It looked like the Xenomorph popcorn bucket.
Yeah, really though. And funny enough, the Xenomorph popcorn bucket that they released in tandem with Alien Romulus has a handle right underneath the head, so you can hold it in the similar fashion. Like,
I'm sure they did that on purpose.
They totally did that on purpose, right? So he does that. I think it's badass. Meanwhile, the Xenomorphs come up to free their queen mother from her imprisonment, right? And they're using her own acid blood to break the chains holding her. It's kind of crazy. Like, one of them hops up on her back and then stabs into her like neck, which causes her blood to splash all around, and then it breaks all of her chains with all of the acid in it, right? So Alexa finds the aliens like feeding / breeding ground and finds Sebastian stuck against the wall with the Xenomorph goop, because that's something we haven't mentioned. Like, when they capture you and they intend to like put the face hugger thing on you, they basically just like glue you to the wall with this nasty tar looking stuff. It's gross.
Gnarly.
So the predator goes to kill him. He's still alive right now. And Alexa protests. She's like, no, you can't, please. Then the predator uses this like infrared vision to look into it, and he sees that there's a Xenomorph baby inside. I cannot stop.
Deep down in all of us is a Xenomorph baby.
So he basically, Sebastian begs Alexa to put him out of his misery, right? So she does. She shoots him so that he's dead. There's a really badass moment where the baby alien inside of him is still there. It lunges out of his chest, and the predator, almost without looking at it, grabs it out of the air and
it was so dope.
Just like cracks it in his hand.
Yeah, it was so
like
sick.
One quick move. I thought it was pretty cool. Predators are badass.
I love the predators.
I'll hand it to them. Really, they are. So then the Xenomorph escapes, and the predator leaves a big bomb at the center of the pyramid. So they're running. Somehow they manage to get out of the entire pyramid before this thing explodes. As the bomb explodes, Alexa and the predator catch a ride on the zip line out of the large ice tunnel that they used to get here. And it's crazy. Like, I didn't know they had this little toboggan here at the bottom of it, but that thing goes up at like rocket speed, like shooting them.
I don't believe that this would have worked.
Absolutely not. Could not have happened, right? Somehow they managed to escape, but everything is starting to crumble around them, right? Because they're in the Antarctic, right? All of these things can come collapsing down. And this scene feels very action movie.
Absolutely.
There's literally a shot where the thing is exploding behind them, and it's Alexa and the predator running straight towards the camera in slow motion. Yeah. It's like something you'd see in like Baywatch or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's feeling very much like an action movie. All the explosions and the music, they barely survive, leaving this giant crater where the whaling station once was. So they're like, whew, okay, guess we did it. Job well done. The predator then removes its mask and goes to mark Alexa basically as like a Xeno-killing warrior with the alien blood, and she accepts. So he puts the little like T shape on her cheek.
And then she becomes Xeno Warrior Princess.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Love that.
Thank you.
But then here's Queenie. The queen Xenomorph bursts through the rubble of all the ice and starts to attack. She looks kind of like a T-Rex in her motions in this one.
She looked dope.
Yeah, she looked really cool.
I mean, there was the moment earlier when like she gets freed from her chains. Her little Xenomorph pals.
Yes, kind of look like velociraptors.
Babies, they look like velociraptors.
Totally. Absolutely. And that's probably what they were going for, I would assume. So the queen shoves the predator aside, starts to chase Alexa to the edge of that like ice pit that they've created now, right? And together, the predator and Alexa attach the queen's chain to like this large tank that falls over the side of the ice, dragging the Xenomorph over the edge of the into like this big icy watery pit below, dragging her all the way down to the frozen abyss. So kind of sad. She ends up freezing again, like she was stuck from the predators, right? It's tough because like you feel bad for her. She was basically used as a machine to make all these aliens that were gonna die. Like I felt bad for her, and then she gets this ending. She was trying to kill the main character. Like, it's tough. Who do you root for? What do you do? But before she gets dragged down into the icy abyss, she does stab through the Predator one last time with her tail, just like straight through him, spewing all of the glow stick blood all over the place. A fatal blow, unfortunately. So it seems like everyone kind of loses here. The Predator died, the aliens died, and that's kind of going with one of my expectations, right?
Scar died.
Scar died. Thus ends Scar. What does Scar die in the Lion King movies? He does, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Lion King in so
he falls
long.
Into fire.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Did he have a fun, cool catchphrase? Who cares?
I fell for you.
I fell for you. It had to be in the Chris, whatever. So after all is said and done, suddenly dozens of predators show up with a gigantic spaceship. They've come to retrieve the corpse of their fallen warrior here. Their leader leaves Alexis with one of their cool weapons, like as a thanks, I suppose. He gives her this cool like staff that I don't know, just look really cool. Then they fly away off into the stratosphere. The end. Almost. Our closing scene, we see the corpse of the dead predator put ceremoniously on the ship, very respectfully. And what's that? I hear? A new hybrid xenomorph baby bursts through the chest of the dead predator. Because usually we've only seen them procreate with a human, but then you do that with predator DNA. You see a xenomorph pop out that has like the mandibles, I guess, of a predator. Because I guess we didn't really talk about what the predator's face looks like underneath the mask. It looks kind of like a tarantula a little bit. It's got this cool patterns on it. It's got these big old mandibles that open up, and it's a very iconic design.
And they have fishnets. They're covered in
Yeah, we didn't talk about that either.
They're very hot.
Yeah, they're kind of sexy.
Pretty hot.
They're pretty sexy warriors. They're all these big buff guys with this patterned skin and fishnets covering them. Yep. It was part of their bar mitzvah. That's how they got that's when they got the fishnets, when they became a man.
Predator bar mitzvah. Spooky, scary. Men becoming predators. Predators becoming wolves. I wish I had somewhere to go with that.
Anyway, that's bar mitzvah. That's it. So yeah, that is Alien versus Predator. Shall we discuss our expectations?
Sure.
Let's do it. So my first expectation was too much people, not enough monsters. It started out very people heavy. It actually took a long time before we even got to seeing the aliens and the predators, especially together.
Oh yeah.
But somehow that balance ended up working for me. I wasn't mad about it, but I could always use more monsters.
Oh, yeah,
but yeah, sure. I thought the balance was all right there.
I should mention there were 32 deaths in this movie.
Well, that's a big
Could have
one.
been more. I broke in. The first expectation was 2000s as hell, and oh my god, yes. The only thing that wasn't early 2000 was like the music, but even that just felt like Lord of the Rings.
Really though, yeah.
So, yeah, man, like almost in every way.
I said nobody wins, neither Predator nor Xenomorph, and that's technically true, but I suppose the Xenomorphs got the last hurrah there at the end by having the baby come up out of the both of them.
Yeah. The story will be decent. I actually loved the story.
Yeah.
I liked the humans being like a pawn to like create xenomorphs.
It's a cool idea.
Predators to come and kill.
Yeah.
It's like the rite of passage. It's pretty dope. I would like to see the xenomorphs rise up and fight back.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. I mean, they did in the war.
I guess.
But I want to see a movie about it.
Yes, totally. I said characters I won't hate dying, but I won't love. I really felt like this had a good mix of like those monster bait characters where it's like, you only exist to be killed off by the creature, right? But and then others that I actually did really care about, like Sebastian and Alexa. Like I actually felt for them a little bit, as characters.
A really cheesy action that ruins the aliens and the predators. It didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I actually enjoyed most of the fight scenes.
Totally.
But there was a little bit of that like cheesy clunkiness.
Yeah, and that camera work really left something to be desired for sure. I said grand atmosphere and sets. I loved all the big sets and the practical effects that lend themselves to this larger-than-life world with these larger-than-life entities, right? And like I mentioned earlier, atmosphere is a lost art in movies these days that a lot of these movies from the 2000s had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Romulus brought that back.
Romulus definitely brought that back for sure.
Kind of along that same line, I will really want to be scared of the aliens. They actually worked for me in a slightly scary way, not as much as I wanted, but it still worked. One thing we noted while we were watching the movie, I don't think we've mentioned, there's a scene where it's just her versus a xenomorph. And in that moment, the movie did tonally shift, and the vibe of the movie did shift to more of like what's lurking in the shadows kind of a feel that I really felt was more reminiscent of
horror.
Alien.
Exactly.
I was really pleased with that scene. I wanted more of that because it did work with the Predator too.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something like it, like you said, it kind of harkens back to the first Alien movie where like it was just a bunch of scientists who like all they had at most was like a flamethrower. They didn't actually have guns.
Yeah.
Same thing with Alexa in that same scene there. She had nothing to defend herself with.
No.
So she found herself against the alien by Alexa. Like
She's
that's
dead.
it. And that's scary. And you cared about Alexa, which I really loved. I said my final one here was, as always, the monsters will look fantastic. And save for a few like clear CG shots, the Xenomorph and the Predator always looked top tier. I love how they come across. And it's just two iconic designs that like we will never, you can't top, you can't replace those ever.
They're very iconic.
Very, very
iconic. Will
iconic.
always be. My last expectation, just an action movie. Absolutely. But it was a fun one.
It was a fun action movie for sure. Should we discuss our surprises for the... Oh, sorry.
Surprised me.
Derek brought up a great point, actually, like you were mentioning just a second ago. When the Predator feels like the focus of the story, it was an action movie. It felt like an action movie, much like the Predator movies are. And then when the Xenomorph was the focus, it really felt like it shifted more into a horror territory. And I love that. That is very respectful to the two in their settings, right? I really enjoyed that. It felt very 2004, but not like suffocatingly so. I expected to roll my eyes more at the corny 2000s vibes, but it didn't end up feeling that way. I actually like walked through not hating that, because like there are some movies that are from the 2000s and you're like, this definitely feels like a 2000s movie, and this one wasn't like too bad. I said I was surprised by how well they had the two iconic characters come together. That plot line really worked for me, and it didn't feel weirdly out of place. I thought they found a really good way, story-wise, to make this work, right? And what's the next one? I said they were very respectful to to the characters and their iconicness. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
just like,
absolutely.
they're characters that are held within high regard, and I feel like they stayed that way after the end of this movie.
Oh, for sure.
And then my final surprise was just that they kept it like mostly practical, and it worked well. They're wonderful.
So
the
cool.
big grand sets, the costumes for the Predators and the Xenomorphs, the Queen Xenomorph herself. The only time that she was like fully CG was the final sequence where she was rampaging like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful.
It was
what were your
great.
surprises?
How cool the Predators were. I don't know. I went
yeah.
into this movie thinking they were going to be really cheesy, right? I had that expectation.
You
built
came
up.
out of this like as a Predator fan.
I think I did. I'm actually fully intending to go watch the
We gotta
Predator
watch all of
movies.
those now.
Specifically Prey. I really want to see Prey. But I'm going to see all of them. And then how cool the effects were. Like the practical effects mixed with some CG. Like the CG didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I thought it would, like them cloaking and stuff. I thought that would bug me, but it didn't. It worked really well.
It's mildly corny, but it's like lovable because of that.
And I think this movie has aged the right amount.
Totally.
Like I feel like it's at the point we can look back on it with like a smile instead of critically.
Totally.
And I didn't hate the characters was another surprise for me. Like most of them had decent traits to them. I didn't like hate them and want them to die. I wasn't like depressed when they died, but
and none of them had like these deep tragic backstories that made me go, oh, you poor thing, I have to care for you because of your trauma. Like, no, they didn't really lean on that.
And then finally, just the Xenomorph weapons that they made at the end. Those are so dope.
That kicks ass.
Another surprise about them is that they went nowhere. She didn't get to use the shield.
No.
She just stabbed with the spear once.
One time.
It would have been way cooler if she got to use them. But
Just one
it is what it
time,
is.
please. So shall we discuss our verdicts?
Yes, it's me, Verdict Monster. Tell me your verdict. I don't know.
General verdict here. So verdicts for me, I said that was horror actionable. I think this movie did a good job at lending both to the horror and action sides of these separate franchises that came together in this film. It was a surprisingly enjoyable time. Like I don't understand why it gets so much hate here. It was still corny and dated a little bit, but I think it serves as a good addition to the mythos of aliens and predators. It just wasn't enough actual horror for me to give it like a certified horrible ranking.
Yeah.
But I think the aliens have used their big old space laser to dig down to a pretty fun action horror movie.
For sure. For me, that was horrible.
Okay, yeah.
Same as you.
Pretty much, yeah.
Horror actionable. I had a surprisingly fun time with this movie. The effects were fun for a PG-13 movie specifically, and the story did a lot for me. I love the idea of the Predators being the gods, and their little trial thing was so dope. I completely understand the issues people have with this movie and why it was so talked down on, but I personally had a really fun time with it. In the future, you won't need Chris Hansen to help me catch this Predator movie.
You will not need to catch a predator in this one because I'm being puppeteered by a puppet, and he calls himself Count Trivia.
No, but do you get it? Because you won't need Chris Hansen to help me catch this Predator movie.
That's pretty good, actually. That's really good. Yes, Derek, that is very good.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Oh, okay, I have an answer for you.
In my big book of Garfield jokes.
Isaac, why is he bringing out a book right now? I do not want to read from a book.
This is from my Garfield Big Fat Hairy Joke Book. What did the vampire say to the Invisible Man?
What? I don't really talk to that guy. I can never find him, and I think he spies on me when I sleep.
Long time no see.
Long time.
It's the Invisible Man.
Long time no. Okay, yeah. All right. You got more?
What do you say to a depressed vampire?
I'm really sorry for you. I'm here for you in these times. I understand your plights. I love you very much, Count Trivia. What were you going to say?
Hang in there.
No, that's better. Actually, I like that one. That's not bad.
Hey, how come it never seems like you have any friends?
I have you guys. Are you guys my friends?
Yeah, but we're just a pain in the neck.
Oh, that is very good. That is very good.
Okay, one more.
You have more. Okay, go.
So you know Dracula?
I am familiar with the man. He's fine.
Yeah, I know you guys have gone out sometimes. You know, when you go out, what does he always say to the girls when he's trying to pick them up?
He doesn't really say much. He's kind of a shy guy. What do you think he says?
Hey, gorgeous, what's your blood type?
Oh, that is very good. That is very good.
Okay, I have one more.
Oh, you said you had one. You said you had one more.
Well, that one was kind of misogynistic.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
What did the polite vampire say to his victim?
What was that? Please and thank you.
It's you. It's been nice gnawing you.
Been nice gnawing you. Yes, thank you, Derek. Thank you, everybody. Now something's wrong with me. Derek, no. Check my forehead. Do I feel okay? Am I hot? I feel
you're so hot. Oh, you got a chest burster.
It's burst out, but what's that in its hand?
It's
the card.
Trivia card.
Thank you. Trivia.
Isaac was waiting on
fade away.
bated breath to do that joke.
The whole time. The whole bit. All right, strap in, folks. We got a little bit of trivia here. There was a lot of trivia to go through for this movie. So let's just start out. In an interview, director Paul W.S. Anderson said that Arnold Schwarzenegger offered to reprise his role as Dutch Schaefer. That's the one, Dylan and Dutch. There we go. From Predator 1987.
If they had one more D name, it would be Triple D.
Oh my God.
Divins and Divins.
Yep. At the end of this movie, as a cameo. So Arnold offered this himself, but only if he lost the election for California governor. And of course, he famously won that election, so he was unavailable to appear in this movie.
I am the governor. I cannot be in your movie.
Why was that so good?
No, I'm
That's
not
right,
the Dutch.
Isaac. I bet you weren't expecting such a good Arnold in this episode. So when Alexa asks Sebastian how to say scared shitless in Italian, because there's a moment there when, like, just trying to make fun banter, she asks him because he's Italian. He replies, and I will try to do my best here, non vedo l'ora di uscire de questa piramide con te perché mi sto cagando addosso. That's nonsense to you guys. Translated, this literally means, I can't wait to get out of this pyramid with you because I'm shitting myself.
Whoa.
Which I thought was kind of fun. He kind of just rattles off in Italian. You're like, what is he even saying? That's what he said there. The Alien Queen was the most sophisticated animatronic ever built at the time. It had twice as many moving parts as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park 1993.
It's funny because it looked like the T-Rex from Jurassic
Park. Kind of, right? But I guess twice as complicated, right?
Cool.
The altars where victims were placed in the chamber of sacrifices of the pyramid are arranged identically to the hibernation pods in the original Alien 1979, which I think is pretty cool. In the very beginning of the movie, you can hear Morse code. The Morse code picked up by the satellite spells out the words, "Whoever wins, we lose." This is, of course, the tagline used to promote the film, which is like kind of corny. I still don't know how much I love that. It's like fine.
I don't like that.
According to director Paul W.S. Anderson, if they'd filmed in Hollywood, the the sets would have cost them $20 million. In Prague, they only cost $2 million, which is an important factor in keeping the film's budget down below, $50 million. This was low even by contemporary standards, where most big special effects driven action movies cost like twice that amount, for sure.
Crazy.
And then finally, we were talking about this. The green glow stick dropped down the shaft. There's a scene in there where they drop a glow stick. Contains the same fluorescent liquid used by the effects department for all of the Predator movies as the Predator's blood.
Cool.
According to Predator director John McTiernan, they stumbled on the effect after unconvincing attempts to make blood look orange, forced the crew to look for alternatives.
Incredible.
So yeah, that's how they ended up going with like the literally from a glow stick that green effect.
Super dangerous.
Probably very super dangerous, I bet. But that's Alien versus Predators, you guys.
AVP.
And
Chris Hansen.
And we have been your Android hosts here from the Wayland Corporation. Wayland is dead now.
That was horrible. But in fact, it is Chris Hansen.
Oh my God. No, not terrible.
Not terrible.
Next time, we will come back to our promise. We will be watching The Gate from 1987, sitting at a 36%. Just to remind you about what that movie is about, the synopsis here says, kids left home alone accidentally unleash a horde of malevolent demons from a mysterious hole in the suburban backyard. It's so hard not to say it like Chris Hansen. But so yeah, join us next episode so we can run through some stuff like that. We can't send you on your way without.
Hey, wait, can I say something real fast?
Science Jim.
Yeah,
you're not even in a hat.
I wasn't even this episode. I just want to say something. Scar, he did die. He fell off a cliff. Did you know in the alternate ending, Scar was shown burning to death in that fire?
Whoa.
He was like sitting there laughing and burning to death. But they decided it was too scary.
Yeah, I would assume that's probably too scary.
Anyways.
Science Jim, do you happen to know anything about like if putting glow stick liquid onto your body would be very dangerous for a person? Because I can't imagine that's very safe. Like, I know you probably couldn't ingest the stuff, but I imagine like if you put the actual stuff from it onto your body, probably pretty bad, right?
Well, they're not radioactive.
Well,
I'll
that's
tell you
good.
That much.
It's hydrogen peroxide and dephanyl oxalate. This is embarrassing. The hydrogen peroxide is contained in a glass vial, which separates from the. We've talked about this.
I
on
know.
The podcast
I'm remembering
before.
right now.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, it's usually okay. Just don't eat it.
Yeah, just don't
It'll
ingest
make
the
your
stuff.
tummy hurt.
Thank you, Science Jim. Wonderful as always. But so before we send you on your way, we must give you your Garfield horror scope for the week here. We start off with a lovely image of Garfield just stretching out this goopy cheese from a pizza, from a delicious pepperoni and sausage pizza. Now, do you understand what is happening here? Should we go panel by panel here?
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Garfield brings his dinner over. He gets his dinner from John. It's a big bowl of gross cat food, and then John's sitting down with a big ass steak. And
you're like angry about this.
You could say he gets catfished because he looks around the piece of paper.
This one pisses him off.
Cat food instead of a steak.
So yeah, Garfield. Derek's mad about this one. Garfield swaps his dinner of like a bowl of cat food with John's whole ass steak and vegetables and stuff like that. So, Derek, who are you this week?
I'm definitely the food.
You're the food for sure. Yeah. I'm gonna be the green wall behind them.
What?
I'm gonna be the wall.
Okay. Food is just gonna get eaten no matter what. So
okay.
Embrace where you're at in your life. You know, if you're in front of John, you're in front of John. If you're in front of Garfield, you're in front of Garfield. It doesn't matter what step of life you're in.
Yeah.
You're there and you embrace that.
Yeah. And you were the life beautiful. Essence, the source that keeps people going.
Yeah.
No matter who eats what in this situation between these bickering roommates, basically, they'll live at the end of the day.
I don't know if you ate that much cat food, if you would live, you probably wouldn't feel well, which makes us talk about something else. Why are we feeding that to our cat?
That's true.
If it would hurt us.
The more you know, the more you think. This week, the wall has to say,
oh man, the wall's just there.
And the wall's just there.
What about the fly
Just
on the
chilling. No, I'm just kidding. The wall, listen, you were providing, this is the wall to a house, which provides a person with a home. You can't have that without these walls, this structure, this support system here. So be a supporting force of nature in the world around you. And for those, you are a house to someone. You are a wall that gets together with another wall. Like if I'm a wall and Derek's a wall and we're together, we're making part of a house. You can't, I don't know if you can make a house with 2 walls.
Walls.
If you had 3 walls, maybe you could make a house.
Pagoda.
And then maybe find a roof, put a little hat on and you'll be good. Good to go.
And out of that third wall comes Chris Hansen. Sit down, John.
And inside of this house, we've caught a predator. Bet you weren't expecting a house with 3 walls. Anyway, thank you as much as always. I have been Chris Hansen. And who have you been, Derek? Have you been anybody? I've been Chris Hansen. You have been
Martha
Davis.
Martha Davis.
Who we will remember for next time.
I've been Derek. This has been Isaac.
Thank you very much for
I
joining
actually don't
us
think
as
I
always.
said my name ever, so that's good.
Yeah, that's Derek. That's the one. Derek.
Thanks for following us.
Thanks for all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, thanks for coming and supporting us on all of our social medias. We are on all of those if you choose to check us out. Should I do this as Chris Hansen?
Probably, yeah.
All right. I feel like I have to finish it out this way. We are on Instagram at that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, TikTok at That Was Horrible. Bet you weren't expecting some very horrible boys in your podcast. Thank you, as always.
This is High Horse Palomino. He's here thinking he's here for a bunch of boys.
Oh,
when in reality, it's
no,
two
no,
adult
no.
men.
Oh,
I'm
God.
Chris Hansen. This has been a Catch a Predator.
Thank you for listening to That Was Horrible.
Thank you.
Garfield be with you. Stay spooky.
Goodbye.